some customers occasionally coming out and saying, I need to go out for a breather because I felt, constricted. I felt something. I didn't like the feeling that I was getting in there. On a cold night.
Episode 2. The True Crime Museum. We all know that violence leaves a scar. But does that scar only exist on the victims and survivors? Or does the raw, destructive energy of a terrible crime cling to the very place it happened, and to the objects that were witness to it all? A blood-stained axe, a cell-locked door, a handwritten confession. These aren't just pieces of history, they are physical conductors. They hold a residual energy, a psychic echo of the fear, the anger, and the desperation. They force us to ask, when we look at these relics, are we looking at history, or are we looking into a living, breathing haunt? Today we're venturing into the heart of that energy. I'll be speaking to Laura from the True Crime Museum. She spends her days face to face with these items, the very definition of cursed objects. She'll share what it's truly like to work with the artifacts that history forgot, but their spirits did not. Prepare to question the difference between historical fact and spiritual residue. Let's see what secrets these objects are still trying to tell. Hello and welcome to the Creepcast. I'm your host Jim. Today I'm joined by Laura, the Assistant Curator at the True Crime Museum in Hastings. As fascinating as it is, we're not actually going to be speaking about true crime today. We're going to be speaking about the paranormal or the supernatural, however you see it. And I'm going to be asking Laura about her experiences and her colleagues' experiences that they've witnessed within the museum. So Laura, welcome to the Creepcast. It's fantastic to have you on.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, if you could just introduce yourself.
Okay. Hiya. My name's Laura. I'm the Assistant Curator here at the True Crime Museum. I've been here just over 7 years now. I started off as the Group and Paranormal Events Manager, and then I got promoted to Assistant Curator, but I still manage all of the paranormal events here as well. So yeah, I'm probably the best person to ask about paranormal stuff here.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like you've got lots of experience.
Definitely.
So yeah, I think we'll just get on with the questions. So thinking back then over the 7 years, when did you or the staff start to notice things that were sort of like unusual or anything that you could sort of say that was probably paranormal?
Yeah, so I mean, stuff happens here all the time. With the venue and the nature of the venue, things have occurred over the 7 years that I've been here that you just can't quite explain. They're not the usual things that have happened. We've had a lot of experiences. We've had a lot of staff come and go. And I think all the staff that have been here over the years have got one or two stories of things that have happened that you think, oh, that's quite unusual. So yeah, I've got many different occurrences that have happened.
Is there any anything that you could describe, like one of your earliest experiences of something that you thought was like out of the ordinary?
Yeah, so one that really springs to mind, and I've spoken about it before, is there was an instance where it was me and a couple of other colleagues, and there was a female colleague, and we were packing down for the day. It was about 4:30. We were getting ready to go home at 5, and we were just packing our shop away. And my colleague was just putting something away, and she was standing 2 or 3 meters away from myself and my other colleague, and she screamed. She screamed really loudly, and she said, "You've pulled my hair. One of you's pulled my hair. Why have you done that?" And we're 2 or 3 meters away from her, and we said, "No, we wouldn't do that. We haven't done that to you." But she was visibly shaken. by the incident. And we looked back on the CCTV and we were really far away from her, but she's adamant something pulled her head really hard, but enough to hurt her, and enough to sort of make her scream, which was, that's probably the incident that sticks out most in my brain that I've never forgotten, because it was just so bizarre and it's completely unexplained.
Yeah. With that, have you ever had any sort of paranormal teams at the museum after that happened where they might have asked questions to try and find out if there was something that actually did that to your colleague?
I mean, paranormal teams tell me all the time that, and also usual customers as well. We some customers have said that they felt a presence or they felt like they've been touched. But other than that incident, I haven't ever been told about anything sort of nasty or anything trying to sort of hurt any customers, colleagues, or paranormal teams that visit. That's the kind of only sort of negative paranormal experience that comes to mind. Otherwise, they're kind of I don't believe there's anything in here that's nasty, any nasty spirits that are trying to hurt anyone. But yeah, paranormal teams say all the time that they've contacted all kinds of people. We get names all the time, which we do research on to see if, we can find any connection with the building or the artifacts as well.
Oh, right. Okay. I visited the museum a little while ago. And there was actually a time during our investigation there where I was on my own in the walkway bit where where you have the electric chair. And I was just getting some B-roll and just taking some pictures. And yeah, it literally felt like someone was either standing in that doorway watching me, or it felt like someone was like walking up to me, like walking up on me, just I don't know whether it was to see what I was doing or to try and intimidate me or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't stop like turning around to see who was there. When you feel like someone is like standing behind you and you have
Someone's
to like
watching
check
over your shoulder.
Yeah. I had that sense that someone was there, so I had to keep turning around, and then I decided that was enough and I walked away.
No, I don't blame you. Yeah, that's not the first time. I mean, I would say I've felt that before. Definitely, we get a lot of customers say, that they think they see figures out the corner of their eye, and I won't say that I haven't thought I've seen that either, and other staff have said that as well. And there's always sort of unexplained noises as well that we can't quite work out sort of where they're coming from or why, why we've heard voices and all kinds of things before. So yeah, it's definitely a very active venue.
There was something else as well. I think one of the people that I was with during that investigation, I think they said they were filming or taking a picture or something of where you have the bathtub. And they actually saw, they say that they saw an orb either go into the bathtub or come from the bathtub. I can't remember which way round it was.
Yeah.
And then there was also, you have the alarms on the door at the back where you've got the big car. We set up something round by that door, and it kept going off. And it's while we were either in one of the other rooms or at the opposite end of the same room. We were nowhere near it. And it just constantly just kept sort of like going off, and we switched it off, turned it on, moved it somewhere else and swapped it out for something else. And then, it's just, there was something there and it kept setting our stuff off.
It's funny you say about orbs, actually, because, I've seen video footage and pictures before of orbs inside the museum, and they're always specifically inside the death chamber, which is where the bath is and where the skull is as well, the real human skull and the lethal injection bed. So all the video footage and the images that we have are actually of orbs, but they're inside that one area. Yeah,
it's interesting. It definitely, it did feel quite peaceful in there to start with. But we did spend a little bit of time in there during our investigation. And to me, it felt like the longer you spent in there, the atmosphere kind of like changed a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, we get a lot of customers because of the venue, with it being set in the caves, and obviously, the artifacts. We do occasionally get customers that actually faint, or they do feel a little unwell. And again, it is always in that area because it's such a tight area, and it's full of that energy. We do get customers, they do occasionally go over, or they just feel unwell, and they do, so they come out and they just feel, they just felt this pressure.
Yeah, it's an interesting area of the museum, absolutely. Over time, what have been some of the significant recurring types of phenomena that yourself or the staff have, or even the visitors have probably reported as seeing or feeling?
Yeah, so again, it comes down to sort of seeing figures out of the corner of your eye. We had a really bizarre instance where we had, we've written it in our guidebook actually, but it's happened a couple of times since. We've had a couple of ladies came out, and they said that they saw a little Victorian boy running around dressed in Victorian clothing. And then I actually dealt with it a couple of months later. I had another customer tell me exactly the same thing, totally unconnected.
Oh, right, okay.
And they just told me it mirrored the conversation that we'd had with them 2 months ago. As I've seen a little boy running around, he's dressed in old-fashioned clothing, and it was just really bizarre. It always seems to be seeing figures or just seeing shadows moving out of the corner of your eye, and just hearing things as well, hearing voices inside the caves.
I guess that is similar to what I was talking about when I was taking the pictures and stuff, and felt that there was like someone there, and it felt like someone was like either watching or walking up to me. Definitely got that sense. And we spoke about the area that has the bathtub and the skull. But are there any other sort of parts of the museum where experiences seem to be more sort of concentrated?
So one of the exhibits which seems to be a really main focus with a lot of paranormal teams and customers as well that are feeling things is Amelia Dyer's bodice. So we have the bodice of the baby farmer Amelia Dyer, which is probably one of our most hardcore exhibits. I don't even like to sort of take it out and clean it because it's just so awful. She was a baby farmer, and she killed over 200 babies, which is just awful. And that seems to hold a lot of energy. Most paranormal teams seem to gravitate towards that and pick up stuff in that area, which is our cave 1. So that's definitely a main focal point. The other one, which I find really bizarre, is our crime lab. So we have a small crime lab area, which is basically a kids interactive area. So it's got no genuine exhibits in it. It's all like microscopes and kids interactive stuff. So there's no dark exhibits in it, but it seems to be a really active area from what I've been told over the 7 years I've been here with paranormal teams. And the only reason I can think that's why is because it's got all the original tiling from the Palace Court Hotel. So above the entrance of the museum it's flats now, but it was one of the most famous hotels in Hastings, the Palace Court Hotel. It's been in a couple of movies. It's been in the Byzantium movie, so you can see it there as a vampire movie. But it's down here, the caves and also our other areas that make up the museum, it was like the staff quarters and the kitchens and things like that for the hotel. So all the tiling in there is original. So the only thing I can think of why that would be an active area is because it's the building itself rather than the what the area holds, because as I say, nothing in there is genuine.
All right, okay. It's interesting that you started with the Emily Dyer exhibit. Again, when we were there a little while ago doing our investigation, that is where I felt something like really dark being around that area. There was even a point where I was speaking to Emily, who was one of the other people that was with us, that I was feeling like someone had their hand around my throat, and You're
not the first person to say that.
Yeah, it felt like something was like crushing crushing my throat and I was trying to clear my throat and everything. And Emily said that she felt the same sort of thing. So it's really, really interesting that you've mentioned that without me saying anything first.
Yeah, you're absolutely not the first person that said that to me. And that comes back to that whole thing of, some customers occasionally coming out and saying, I need to go out for a breather because I felt, constricted. I felt something. I didn't like the feeling that I was getting in there. That does happen occasionally. So you're not the only one.
Yeah, I did actually read up on her a little bit after we'd visited. And yeah, she was an awful woman. Absolutely terrible.
She really was, and it's. I would say she's probably one of, if not the most prolific women's serial killer. But just people don't really know, about her. She's a little sort of unknown. I mean, I didn't know about her until I started working here 7 years ago. So I mean, people just aren't aware. And I think that it's a massive draw for customers when they come in here because they leave and they say, "Oh my God, I had no idea."
And I would definitely recommend to anybody that is watching this to go away and actually look up Emily Dyer and just read about Amelia Dyer, sorry. Just see what some of the crimes and stuff that she committed, because she was a terrible person.
Yeah, she was.
It is really surprising of all the other sort of like serial killers and things like that you hear about. She's never really someone that comes up.
It's not.
And it's kind of like she's a bit sort of forgotten in terms of like serial killers and all that sort of thing.
It is, yeah, and it's a really interesting story as well because she actually she got found out because she was disposing of the babies she was killing in the river, but she actually was wrapping them in paper with her home address on them.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's how she got found out, is that she was wrapping them in wrappings that had her name and address on it. So. Oh,
okay. It's like she wanted to get caught.
No, I know. It's bizarre, isn't it? It's a very weird story.
So, have you and your colleagues been able to sort of develop any sort of like theories or ideas about what's occurring in like specific locations, or like when you think about the history and everything else, does anything sort of make sense and add up?
Yeah, I mean, I believe this stuff occurs in here because of the exhibits that we've got in here, the dark nature of the crimes that they're associated to, but also the history of the building. As I said about the crime lab, it's got a really, really big history. We've got the caves that have themselves got a lot of history, and then obviously you've got the Palace Court Hotel, which was here, which would have had thousands of people going in and out all the time because it was the biggest hotel in the area. The building itself holds so much history, which is really, really interesting to look up. But also the exhibits as well. We've got so many exhibits in here that have got, they've all got a really big past. So I would say that's why.
And in terms of like the paranormal, I suppose with the exhibits that you do have and the type of energy that those people would have presented, I can imagine that's probably why there is also like a paranormal presence at the museum. Is obviously there's a lot of like dark, not very nice energy attached to some of those things. And it only has to be sort of like this in the correct sort of environment that it sort of manifests itself and shows up.
Exactly.
So is there anything that you can share that's probably an unexplainable experience? I know you mentioned about your colleague getting there, saying that they had their hair tucked. But is there anything else that you might be able to think of?
Yeah, so we've mentioned it in our guidebook here at the museum, but there was when we first opened, it was before I got here, it was the museum's owner and curator, Joel Griggs. He was here on his own. I believe it was quite early in the morning, and he saw clear as day a figure on the CCTV camera, clear as day. He was on his own, so he thought somebody was in the venue with him. He ran out and, was saying, hello, what are you doing here? Who are you? There was nobody there. And he went back to review the CCTV, and there was nothing on it. But he swears blind that he saw he saw clear as day a person or a figure, enough to alarm him. And bear in mind, he's not a believer. He doesn't go in for this kind of thing. It's not, he'll tell you that it's not, even though a lot of our staff here are full believers, and some of them, like me, are a little bit sort of fence sitters. We're not sure. But yeah, he saw that, and he swears to this day that he saw it, and it's completely unexplained. We'll never know.
It is. I find it really interesting when you have people that are skeptics or non-believers, and then when they experience something that might be sort of linked to like the paranormal, and how they sort of react to it and think about what just happened and everything.
Yeah.
Because obviously in their mind originally it's like that can't ever be a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting one to sort of see their reaction to it, and then to sort of like talk to them about it afterwards, just to see what their thoughts are once that's happened.
Yeah, I mean, we have a really varied staff range here of, people who are skeptics, and then people who, are full believers. And as I say, I kind of put myself somewhere in the middle. Before I worked here 7 years ago, I'd have told you no, absolutely not. But it's really hard, having managed these events for 7 years and having been shown the evidence that I've been shown, or told what I've been told, or even experienced what I've experienced. You can't say that something doesn't exist. It's not real. If you're being handed all this, this evidence, or you're experiencing these things, you can't deny something that you're still not sure on.
As well, you've spoke about things that other people have experienced in the museum, and they are the same sort of things that myself or one of the people I was with experienced during our visit there as well, before I even said anything about it. So it kind of, it makes you think, like, what is actually happening? Why do people think that these sorts of things are actually going on? And is it paranormal, or is it just something else that makes people just to think that?
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely makes you think, yeah.
So has the frequency or intensity ever increased, or has anything changed where you sort of maybe saw or heard a lot of stories from one area and it's like not there anymore, or it's moved somewhere else?
I mean, we constantly get new exhibits in all the time. We swap and change our exhibits. We buy new ones, or we loan ours out to other museums and they loan us stuff. So it's constantly changing. So, I mean, we're in a different place now, 10 years on to where we were when we first opened. And I'm sure because of that, because we've added those sort of darker exhibits in here, that the energy and the paranormal experiences have increased, because we're filling the caves up with more and more dark exhibits. So I'm definitely positive that the feedback that I'm being given by paranormal teams and customers as well has increased over the time that I've been here, because we've added more and more into the venue.
Right, okay, that makes sense. It'd be interesting to see what other exhibits you have the next time that we actually visit the museum, just to see what we pick up from those new exhibits as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that was all of my questions. We'll leave it there. Yeah, thank you very much for coming on again.
No, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was great to talk to you. And yeah, some of the things that you said were like really, really interesting, like the experiences that other people have had. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.